Imagine a world with no light switch, no glowing phone, no street lamp humming outside your window. When the sun went down, it truly went down, and the darkness that swallowed the land was deeper and blacker than almost anything you have ever seen. For nearly all of human history, this was normal. Night was not a soft, cozy end to the day. It was a strange and dangerous country that our ancestors had to survive every single night for hundreds of thousands of years. So what did they actually do out there in the dark? The answer is far stranger and far more human than you might expect. Let us start with the thing that changed everything: fire. Long before electricity, before candles, before oil lamps, there was the campfire. Somewhere between 1 and 2 million years ago, early humans learned to control flame, and that single skill quietly reshaped what the night could be. Think about what fire gave them. It gave warmth when the temperature dropped. It gave protection because most predators are wary of flame and would not step into that flickering circle of light. It gave a way to cook food, which made meat safer and easier to digest. But it gave something less obvious too. It gave them extra hours of being awake. Before fire, the day simply ended when the sun did. After fire, a new stretch of time opened up. A soft, glowing pocket of evening that belonged to people alone. And in that pocket, something remarkable happened. They started to talk. Researchers who study modern hunter-gatherer groups noticed a pattern. During the daytime, conversation was mostly practical. Where is the water? Who is hurting? What must we hunt tomorrow? But after dark, around the fire, the talk changed completely. By firelight, people told stories. They spoke of spirits and ancestors. They described faraway places and imagined creatures. They passed down the rules of the group, the myths that explain the stars, the memories of people long gone. The firelight loosened something in the human mind. It turned a circle of tired hunters into storytellers, and storytelling may be one of the deepest roots of human culture itself. So the first thing ancient humans did at night was this. They gathered, and they dreamed out loud. But not everything about the night was warm and wonderful. The darkness was also frightening, and that fear was not foolish. It was wisdom. For a creature like us, night was genuinely dangerous. Our eyes are built for daylight. We see poorly in the dark, far worse than the animals that hunt in it. To a leopard or a hyena or a pack of wolves, a sleeping human was simply an easy meal waiting quietly in the shadows. So fear of the dark was not a weakness. It was a survival tool, carved into us over countless generations. The humans who felt a chill of dread when the light faded, who stayed close to the fire, who listened carefully to every snapping twig, those were the humans who lived long enough to have children. The fearless ones, the ones who wandered off alone into the black, often did not come back. That is why, even today, so many of us feel a flicker of unease in the dark. That is why children are afraid of the shadows under the bed. It is an ancient alarm system, still humming quietly inside us, long after the leopards are gone. Now here is where the story takes a truly surprising turn, because we tend to assume that our ancestors slept the way we do. One long block of sleep, straight through the night, from dusk until dawn. But the evidence suggests that for much of history, they did not sleep like that at all. They slept in 2 shifts. Historians studying old letters, diaries, court records, and medical books found something curious. Again and again, people referred to their first sleep and their second sleep, as if this were the most ordinary thing in the world. Here is how it seems to have worked. People would go to bed not long after dark. They would sleep deeply for a few hours. This was the first sleep. Then, somewhere around midnight, they would naturally wake up, and instead of panicking that they were awake, they simply used the time. For an hour or so, in the quiet middle of the night, people did all sorts of things. Some prayed. Some tended the fire or checked on the animals. Some talked softly with the person lying beside them. Some got up and visited neighbors. Writers of the time even suggested this was a good moment for reflection, for making sense of dreams that were still fresh in the mind. And then, after this peaceful waking hour, they would drift back down into their second sleep, which carried them through until morning. 2 sleeps with an island of wakefulness in between. It sounds bizarre to us now, but to them it was simply how the night was shaped. So why did we stop? Why do most of us today sleep in one solid block instead of 2? The answer once again comes back to light. As artificial lighting spread, first with brighter lamps and eventually with electricity, the night began to shrink. Streets glowed. Homes stayed lit long after sunset. People stayed up later and later, filling the evening with activity that once would have been impossible. The soft, natural rhythm of 2 sleeps got squeezed out. With less time available, the body compressed its rest into one continuous stretch. The old pattern faded so completely that most people today have never even heard of it. And here is a gentle, fascinating thought. Some people who wake in the middle of the night and lie there worrying that something is wrong with them may actually be experiencing a very ancient, very natural pattern trying to return. But let us step back into that older world for a moment and imagine the full shape of an ancient night. The sun sinks. The fire is built up. Families gather close, sharing warmth and food. Stories rise into the dark, tales of gods and beasts and ancestors, while children listen wide-eyed until their eyelids grow heavy. One by one, people settle down to sleep, wrapped in whatever they have, close together for warmth and safety. The fire burns low. The world outside the circle is pure black, alive with sounds. An owl, a distant howl, the wind moving through unseen trees. And in that darkness, a lone figure might sit up, keeping watch, feeding the flames, guarding the sleeping group against whatever moves beyond the light. Hours pass. People wake in the quiet middle of the night, murmur to one another, gaze at the impossibly bright stars, and slowly return to sleep. The night is not empty. It is full of small rituals, small comforts, small acts of courage repeated over thousands of years. This was the human night for almost all of our existence. Not lit by screens but by flame. Not filled with entertainment but with stories. Not one long sleep but 2, cradling a peaceful hour of stillness. And when you think about it, we did not really lose that world so very long ago. Only a few generations back, your own ancestors sat by a fire, feared the dark, told stories, and woke in the deep of the night just as their ancestors had for ages before them. So tonight, when you switch off the light and the room falls dark, pause for just a moment. Feel that faint, ancient tug of unease and know where it comes from. Somewhere inside you, quietly, an older kind of night is still remembered.